This is day 60, and I'm going to talk about how, again, like I talked about yesterday, not looking at terrain, how that fucked over my game. So, here in the first moving, you have time, right? So, here, I should have obviously, like, when you look at the map, there's a couple things you look at. You look at, okay, expanding side, closing side, terrain, like where does it pull, dead side, all that stuff. But I didn't look at the terrain again. And if you remember from the video yesterday where I talked about terrain, it literally pulled up the same mountain. And yet I still didn't like look at the terrain, which shows I'm not conscious about this enough. So here, the best play would be jetpack twice because jetpacks are good when you go from a low layer to a high layer because you can land early. But when you go from high to low, it's bad because you're going to have to land in storm and tank whites. So that would be the best play. So what we do is we jetpack early, which is good, and we land on the start. Nice. Now look for pre-edits. Okay, we're looking. There's not really any good opportunities. That's fine. Let's just wait for zone to open. Wait for zone to open. Jetpack out the back, and then literally we can land up here once it opens up. Like, just wait. We still have time. This was our box right here, right? Look how much time we have. Leave now, and we could box up here, and then we pre this team. Like, if a team boxes up where we box up, or this team. Look at how different our game was. My builds, I was at 100 builds, and I got to 57. If I simply would have scouted the terrain here, especially on first moving, it's so easy. But I remember being in this box, and then seeing, like, everybody's builds, and being like, huh, this looks weird. Like, I'm going to have to go up and over on this zone. There's so many builds going up, and I didn't even think about once about what the terrain could look like. And let's say second moving, right? So this zone is clearly very terrain, like the terrain is crazy, right? So here, what am I thinking about? Okay, where is it gonna pull? We're on a very high layer. We have to use a lot of mass to get here, but we're on a high layer, which is good. But now if you look at the mini map and you have very close like attention to detail, you can see it pulls down into a ravine, which means what's going to be OP here is not jetpack, but backward stairs. Backward stairs, get front, and pre-team, do it over and over. And then probably once you get here, then you want to tarp out. You don't want to go down here because if it pulls back up, then you're going to have to jet back up, which is kind of awkward. So that's what we should have done. But again, I didn't look at the terrain one time. Obviously, once the zone pulls like insta, you want to get front and then we can chill for a bit. Just check the terrain real quick. Look for pre-edits, then keep going. But I didn't look at the terrain once this whole game, and that was really bad. And look, we're going for pre-edits, which is good. But the next problem that I make here is like, it's like such a weird thing, but like my teammate's getting a pre right here, right? And I edited him down, which is insane. Like, he could have died of fall damage. We can't go for this pre-ed anymore. There's so many things that's going wrong with this, and like it's such a weird mistake, but it means we can't get a refresh again, and then it just snowballs into not being able to get a refresh, and that's why we end up dying this game. For any of you guys wondering why the video is very short today and there's only one game covered, is because we ended up playing 3 manuscrims at the start of the day, and the first game of the day was that game because we weren't really warmed up, but obviously there's still mistakes, so I covered that. But then the next 2 games we ended up winning, and they were pretty solid games. I would say there was no visible mistakes to me. And then we played 3 vital games. We got all spawned twice, and then in our last game, I would say I didn't really make any mistakes, but a mistake my teammate made, which I'm not gonna talk about. I'm not gonna throw him under the bus. I already went over with them. Kind of like mess up our game, so I'm not gonna go over that. And then we ended up playing the OCE Catch Cup, and we were just kind of going over like mid-game strats, how to get surge and doing that stuff. So I'm not really gonna go over that. We're on 150 ping to 200 ping. Like, we can't play endgame, so we didn't really do good, but it's fine. It was good to test out our new plans before the NAC Cash Cup. And something I'm doing is I'm trying to find more time every day because everybody has the same 24 hours. And for me, I need to sleep like 10 hours. I naturally sleep 10 hours. So I already have 14 hours left in the day. And eating was taking up 2 to 3 hours of my day, and it was getting really bad. So what I'm gonna do now is what I used to do. I woke up in the morning. I would cook my first meal, and it'd take me an hour and 30 minutes to eat. I know it's crazy to like cook, eat, clean, and then I eat a second meal later in the day, which would take me like an hour in total. So that's like 2 hours and 30 minutes. Then brushing my teeth and all that stuff. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna cook just my grass-fed ground beef. I'm gonna cook 2 pounds of grass-fed ground beef in the morning, and then only eat one in the as soon as I wake up. I'm gonna leave the other pound for later to eat, and then whenever I have time between scrim games, between vital sessions, between the opens and the finals of a tournament, I will eat the like when I have time and the chance, because all I have to do is reheat it and I can eat it right. Then at night, so I can get my carbs and like the other nutrients in, I'm gonna eat my organic sweet potatoes and my Greek yogurt whenever, again, when I have time, when between scrim games or when there's downtime, I'm gonna eat that. That way, I'm saving time and I'm putting in like I don't have a eating block anymore, except for the first 30 minutes in the morning. I simply just slot it in when I have the time, and that way, not only am I going to be able to play the game more, but my schedule's going to be more flexible, so I don't have to get off to go eat. Like I can just keep playing the game for as long as possible. So yeah, I think that's going to go really well. But I'm going to experiment with it tomorrow. And yeah, today my main mistake. There was only like two mistakes I made, but the main one, obviously the one I covered yesterday, just not looking at the terrain and moving zones. And this is something I'm just gonna have to instill in myself until I get it right.